Todd's got to let him go.
I mean, he was 5, 6, 7 miles an hour faster at the exit of turn 4 right there. That's the reason he was able to complete the pass down the front straightaway.
Now, crew chief, what's happening?
I'm going to tell Jimmy Spencer,
okay. Take care of your stuff, baby. That thing gets the end, take care of it.
Told him to take care of his stuff. That's just what I was fixing to tell you.
Now, Darrell, why is he telling him to baby it, taking it into the turn?
Well, you can overdrive the car, get it sliding. You'll slide the front tires right off the thing. You'll abuse the right front. First thing you push is what you fight. You don't want to abuse that right front. Take care of that baby.
Dick Berggren?
And Darrell, that's exactly his problem, and that's what he's got to avoid. Todd Bodine has got to push when he picks up the throttle, and the car wants to understeer. He's got to take care of that right front tire.
Yeah, you can. What happens too, Mike, is you build up so much air in that tire. You start sliding that right front, digging it in the ground, digging it into the track. It'll just keep shooting that air pressure up and make it worse.
Let's have a look back to Spencer's teammate Sterling Marlin, who started 24th and has now climbed to 13th.
That car just amazes me. Sterling, I talked to Sterling earlier in the week. I said, why is this car so consistent? Every week, week in and week out, all year long last year, and now this year you're starting the same way, right there in the top 5 all the time.
Steve Burns is in his pit.
Well, Mike, as you said, he's already picked up 11 positions early in this race. Interesting, though, this is a brand new race car that didn't even test it. Crew Chief Lee McCall made a spring and a shot change this morning to the front end of the car, but it's really moving now.
And I'm sure a lot of that, the way Jimmy's running, they probably shared notes, teammates. Hey, what are you doing? Here's what I'm doing. You got a little different right front shock. We'll change it.
We want to show you now. We want to look at RPMs, and we want to look at the speed. This is on Jimmy Spencer right here, or this is actually on Sterling Marlin in the 40 car. This is going down the front stretch. Right at 9,188 miles per hour. Now, down in the middle of 1 and 2, it's going to fall back to about 6,600, 140 miles an hour. Now, we'll see it won't quite reach the RPMs or speed on the short back straightaway because it's shorter than the front straightaway. 8,800, about 180 miles an hour.
About 300 RPM less back there and about 10 miles an hour slower.
But the thing that amazes me, even though you don't reach that top speed at the end of the backstretch, you're able to pick the throttle up because turn 3 and 4 is not as tight as 1 and 2. The RPMs, the low RPMs and speed is the same in 3 and 4.
I might say this way. You can drive that car in there just like you do turn 1. But guess what happens? You go right up the track. It won't make the turn. That's a much sharper radius, much sharper entry into turn 3.
The law of physics takes over.
Something happens to that race car. It says, whoa.
A little further back, 21st place. Jeff Gordon being passed by Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's one of those 4 remaining Noble 5 bonus candidates.
Inside, he's got one with him, inside.
Jeff his car doesn't look all that good right now. He's just kind of hovering around the bottom, almost like he's trying to get out of the way.
For more on Earnhardt, Steve Burns.
Hey, DW, you were talking about teammates exchanging notes. I talked to Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew this morning, and they said that he's felt uncomfortable ever since they've been here. What they were going to do was walk down the garage and talk to Michael Waltrip's team, the 15 car, because they were very happy with their setup. So that's what they've done, and he's moved up 13 positions as well since the beginning of the race.
Well, Michael is very happy with his car because he's got the race from yesterday where he finished second, had a fast car yesterday. He said, DW, the cars are very, very similar. Jeannie, what do you know about that?
He may have been happy coming into today, but the first couple laps under his belt, he's been complaining that the car is pretty loose, which is why he was one of the first cars in to make a stop. Adjustments to the track bar on both sides and 4 tires, and it's starting to get a little bit better, but he said, fix this, do anything. I don't know, it's just not handling well.
And Larry, how many times do we go into the happy hour, and after happy hour we say the car's pushing? We come in Sunday morning, we try to free the car up a little bit, and we overdo it.
Well, the racetrack sits here overnight. They'll take the blowers and blow the racetrack. And it's always at the beginning of a race sometimes. Because of that, the racetrack, it don't have the grip and the car will be a bit loose. But trust me, they'll probably be freeing that car up before the day's out, making that thing turn better.
And how many times have you heard that driver say, put it back like it was yesterday?
Yeah, the weather and everything.
That's right.
Sterling Marlin in the 40th car just passes Jerry Nadeau. This is a battle for 11th. He's just steadily marching toward the front.
And at the front, out in front by 1.7 seconds, the man with the bullseye, Jimmy Spencer, former national modified champion. And Spencer, a man of many talents.
Age cannot wither her, nor custom stale her infinite variety.
Vegas, we're off to Atlanta for another full weekend of racing across the Fox networks. Friday on Fox Sports Net, Winston Cup qualifying live. Then Saturday on FX, Winston Cup practice. And on Sunday, start your race day with NASCAR this morning on Fox Sports Net, followed on Fox by Winston Cup Racing presented by Home Depot. And then get your full wrap-up of all the day's action with NASCAR Victory Lane. All access with Jimmy Spencer next weekend on Fox Sports Net.
And speaking of Jimmy Spencer, I want you to look at this line. Whoa, baby. That's as low as he's been through that corner lately. He is right out there, and, man, he's in the championship groove.
And trying to make one even higher.
Great overhead shot. Got a good race going on back here with the 48 to 22. They are dicing and slicing. That's for 13th, 14th. They've been running side by side for quite some time.
That's quite a run for Ward Burton, who started 32nd. And is now up there fighting for 13th.
How about Kyle Petty in that 45 car? Had a good qualifying run here on Friday. He started back in 11th position, and it just seems like the whole Petty organization, in particular Kyle, who was missing races last year. He hadn't even made this race the last 2 years. Here he is up here battling for positions with Ward Burton and Jimmy Johnson.
It just goes to show what the difference, and Larry, you know this, one man can make. Robin Pemberton comes over. If he didn't know anything, he brought credibility and clout with him. Confidence.
Brings
that's
that
the word.
confidence.
And it's helped that whole team. What I like is Kyle. I saw Kyle smiling, and that's been a while since we've seen that.
And look at him. He's running that Kyle Petty line. He has those left side tires below that white line.
If we stay green, pit stops will be coming in 25 to 30 laps.
Now, Kyle Petty, if you remember back a few years ago, he won Rockingham a lot. And he would absolutely drive that track differently than anyone else. And I'm not so sure, Larry, that style wouldn't work really well here. Out of the throttle early, but right on that white line, right around the bottom and wide open up off the corner.
And just a little bit of brake, just enough to help that car take a set before you turn that wheel and stab that throttle.
Kyle has a real knack for that. He gets down on that white line. He likes that.
Spencer out front. Rookie Ryan Newman in second, just ahead of sophomore driver Kurt Busch, then our pole sitter Todd Bodine and Dave Blaney. But there is Newman. There was concern there yesterday about that engine, but here he is, Matt, sailing along in second place.
He certainly is, Mike, and it took 35 laps for rookie Ryan Newman to actually come on the radio and say much, and he told his crew chief, Matt Borland, he says the car has a real nice balance to it. They told him, good job, just keep up your nice pace, and keep in mind that this race car was brand new. They took it to Phoenix, and he wrecked it. They had to cut the front snout off, replace that. They brought it here and tested. Then they had an engine problem, which cut short their test, but what they like about it is this young man, they know he's going to have some stumbles along the way. Remember back when Jeff Gordon was a rookie, he went through 17 clips his rookie season, but what they're most amazed about is this Purdue graduate sure does handle pressure very well.
Oh, every time I think about a rookie, I think about the first time I came to a track something like this. I asked David Pearson, I said, Pearson, can you run that corner wide open? He said, oh yeah. I went out and I tried it, and I darn near killed myself. I come back in, I said, Pearson, you told me I could run that corner wide open. He said, you're right, I told you you could, but I can't.
Another reason why Pearson is the Silver Fox.
Exactly. That's how you learn.
Dick Bergman, I believe you got another story for us.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about Todd Bodine, who started on the pole, led some early laps, and then started to pick up a push in the middle of the corner. That push has become worse. Now he's pushing coming off the corner. They have suggested he try another line. He is a distant fourth and in need of a pit stop.
I tell you, a guy that's having a great run today, and it's good to see. He had a great qualifying run on Friday. Qualified 10th, Dave Blaney in the 77 car, but he has a rear view mirror of that 20 car, Tony Stewart. Tony started back in 15th. I've been watching the scoring monitor, and he is about a 10th to 10th and a half quicker than our leader, Jimmy Spencer, right now. He's going to the bottom of the racetrack by Dave Blaney. This is a battle for 5th. Matt Yoakum, what's going on?
Larry Mack, about 15 laps ago, the Rushville Rocket came on the radio and told his crew chief, Greg Zipadelli, he goes, we're not too bad, babe. The car feels pretty good. He started 15th, now to 6th. He did say that he doesn't want to get above the line where he is in the racetrack, but the car is a little bit tight. They're talking about what adjustments to make on their first pit stop.
So Stewart climbs to 5th. He's the highest place to the drivers eligible for that $1 million bonus.
And folks, a driver likes the car a little bit tight. That means he's always turning it to the left. When he goes into the corner, he's cranking left. When he comes down the straightaway to the next corner, he's just turning left. You don't want to ever have to turn your car back to the right. That's when you lose speed.
Well, I always had my driver try to describe it. Tight's what we call a little tug on that steering wheel. Nice, secure. Push is where you're turning that wheel more and more, and the front wheels are just sliding.
That's a slide, yeah.
And did we mention Bobby Hamilton's car has been retired from the race? His string of 40 consecutive finishes has ended.
Well, that's the thing about records, you know. You set them and then wait for somebody to break them.
Jimmy Spencer, 2 seconds out in front of Ryan Newman. Pit stops will be coming along here in about 20 to 25 laps. Packed house. Sellout crowd in Las Vegas. You're watching NASCAR on Fox. 45 laps complete in the UAW-DaimlerChrysler 400 presented by Dodge. Jimmy Spencer 1.7 seconds up on rookie Ryan Newman. Kurt Busch, Todd Bodine, Tony Stewart, the top 5. Now in 15 to 20 laps, most of these cars will have to pit, but 11 of them may not have to pit under green quite so soon.
Well, again, they were on pit road around lap 10 or lap 11. Now, in the perfect world, what those guys want to see is they want to see everybody that didn't pit back then have to cycle through their green flag stops, and then the man throw a caution, and they'd have a lot of those cars a lap down.
Ooh, that would be in a perfect, well, that'd be in somebody's perfect world.
11 cars, perfect world.
Right. And not these fellows like Ryan Newman and Kurt Busch from Las Vegas. Tony Stewart moving in on Todd Bodine for 4th place. Bodine, our pole sitter.
Tony's sticking to his strategy. He is not moving off of that white line.
Well,
he's actually below the white line.
I tell you, if your car will hook up on that white line, believe it or not, there is grip there. The tires really they almost like they stick into glue when they get down on that white line.
It's a little transition difference, but this track only has 12 degrees of banking, and Darrell, 12 degrees is flat.
Flat, yeah. It doesn't feel like it's got any banking. Matter of fact, it usually feels like it's banked the wrong way.
See Tony Stewart's interval there on the Fox tracks, just a little over 6 seconds behind leader Jimmy Spencer.
A couple of guys right behind them having good runs too. Robbie Gordon back here. Mark Martin not too far back. These guys right here are, Robbie Gordon has had some pretty good runs in that 31 car so far.
And Mark Martin, who we're riding with, the first couple of years of this track, he kind of owned it like Elvis owned this town.
I thought Wayne Newton owned this town.
Well, he does now.
Oh.
Elvis has left.
Took a minute for that to register. Elvis has left. I got you.
Whoa, Rusty, who is carrying Elvis on the side of his car, and Elvis almost got a haircut from Jeremy Mayfield and Kenny Schrader.
Well, they were 3 wide down the backstretch. We have 2 grooves, but 3 wide getting into turn 3, that's a little crowded.
It's not a pretty sight. Remember last year what happened here? I think when Jeremy or Brett going into turn 1 and spun and came down across the track and hit Rusty in the side. I think it happened right in the opening laps of the race. They're former teammates, and I don't know that they're the best of friends either.
Mayfield moves on, and Jeff Burton pulls up on the back bumper of Rusty's number 2. This is at 23rd position.
Now remember, Jeff Burton in the 99, he's one of the cars that pitted on lap 10. Rusty Wallace did not pit.
10 laps or so to